How you doing, Jerry?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
All right, what you on with?
Not much, mate. Just did a bit of weights today, and in between work and did a bit of running on the treadmill as well. So feeling good now. I can relax for the weekend. What about you?
Yeah, I'm just getting ready like you for the weekend, mate, to get off my box. Uh, what do you think to the past week, Eubank, Ben? What do you think of it as a whole?
Um, I still stand by basically the position that I had before the fight. So to me, it was still a pantomime, Russ. Um, I said I wasn't going to watch it, and I didn't watch it. Um, I can't forget the basically the field tests from Ben, the lack of clarity in terms of how he was cleared to fight, um, the fact that he hasn't endeared himself to the public, all that sort of stuff. To me, it still seems like it's a novelty fight based on the fact that you know he's moved up weight just to have a fight with Eubank Junior just because of his name. Um, and on that premise, it's still a danger. The fight's still a danger to either guy. In this case, it seemed like Eubank Jr. was pretty weight drained after watching the highlights. And, obviously, I've been reading different things and seeing different videos throughout the week. So, um, you know, if we're going to say leading up to this fight about weight divisions are there for a reason, I have to stand by that because you can't you can't just sit and pat the two boxers on the back after, even if they put in a great performance. And from what I've seen, it seems like both guys did give it their all. But I mean, we can't say things like we'll have weight divisions for a reason leading up to the fight and then turn around and just forget about it just because the two guys, you know, put on a good performance. Do you know what I mean? So to me, it's still a load of baloney. And you know, Connor Ben's come out looking like a top man now, and he's put himself in a position because he's obviously fought well. And I mean, I take my hat off to him, full respect for that. That's obviously a gutsy performance that he put in. But he still hasn't fought for an area level belt. I've worked his way through the system as you would have done traditionally, and he's leapfrogged so many other guys behind him in doing so. And that just doesn't sit well with me, Russ. Like, he's in a position to make a lot of money. And, he's basically said, screw everybody else. Do you know what I mean? So it just doesn't sit well with me, mate. So I'm
Is it a
still,
cash grab, Jerry?
of course, it's a cash grab. Of course, it's a cash grab.
Is he manufactured?
Yeah, he's manufactured by Eddie Hearn because um, there's value in his name. Um, and because he's put in that performance, Eddie Hearn's already talking about, a possible rematch. And he doesn't deserve it. He never deserved to be in that sort of a high profile fight to begin with because he hasn't done things properly. He hasn't taken on the proper opponents that he should have done in his weight division. Instead, he's waited it out 2 years or so with this stupid field drug test. He's apparently got all this evidence to back things up. He's not able to back up any of it, or he hasn't shown anyone that. And he's found himself in a very lucrative fight with Chris Eubank Jr. And you know, if they do it again, that's going to be another big slice of payday for him. So it just doesn't sit right with me, Russ.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think to Billy Joe trying to get in on act?
Pathetic, mate. Pathetic. Poor Billy Joe. Still talking about coming back, and then there was all that shenanigans with trying to get into Eubank Jr.'s um, into his changing room. You know what I mean? Thought that was pathetic. Just anything to get a wee bit of limelight. What do you think?
Yeah. Do any of them come out with any credit? How it's all been handled from day one?
Um, if anyone has to be given, I guess, credit, I'm going to give credit to Eubank Junior. Um, it's still a gimmick fight though, and he would still rather have taken on that fight than fight a credible and relevant opponent in his weight division. Um, but then maybe he's looking at things like I'm on the slide. I'll be calling it a day soon. You know, take the cash grab. So I understand the logic there, but for me, he's really the only one you can give any sort of credit to. People are giving Conor Benn the credit. I mean, I was near sick the next day, like with all the videos that came out, sort of patting Conor Benn on the back. It's like, did you all just forget what we were all talking about for months, months and months and months and months? All the criticism about Conor Benn, and then it's all forgotten about just because he put in a good performance. And I'm not I'm not taking that away from him. I'm just saying, we can't be hypocrites on this type of thing. We'll have to be firm and stand by everything that we said because nothing's changed. It's still the same until he proves that he wasn't a drug cheat. You know what I mean?
Does he care what fans think, Jerry?
I don't think he does care, Russ, about it. Fans, otherwise, he wouldn't be. His career has obviously been a very strange career. Just fighting lukewarm opponents, opponents that were like relevant years ago, and he's off the back of his name. He's leapfrogged other guys who are starting from the bottom and putting in the graft and working their way through. If anything, he could be a blocker now for some of those guys because what has he got? Some sort of a WBC ranking or something off the back of that fight.
Well, he
You know
hasn't
what I mean?
fought at
So
welterweight for over 3 years now, and he's ranked number three with WBC.
what's that all about? Like, what's that
You
about?
tell me. But do you feel that he's come on with Sims because he's been there 10 years with Sims now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's not won a belt.
No.
What are they
I
doing?
mean,
Is he a protected gimmick fighter?
you'd
Is
have
it
to
a
say he
misfits
is. Right?
job? Is it a misfits job? Borderline.
To me, it's very very close to a misfits job. It's a gimmick fight, in my opinion.
What do you think to Eddie Hills trying to get the fighters a no contest because of Eubank in a sauna or something? Don't we remember Lee Purdy and Barry Ann in a sauna?
um, that's just a
Just drama, isn't
desperate
it?
desperate attempt at fuck me, what's the word I'm thinking of? Controversy. It's desperate attempt for more controversy, get a little bit more talk about it.
Yeah,
Have the
all
guy.
they're just doing what Vince McMahon does with wrestling.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's more entertaining. Because it knows what it's about. This is supposed to be sport. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's supposed to be sport.
yeah. Did you see Frank Spotty Smith wanted to have a knock on car park?
I didn't see that. What happened?
I think he wanted to take one of Eubank's team outside.
Oh, really? He's a big tough guy all of a sudden.
Spotty Muldoon in on the act. Where do they go with Ben now, though?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm hearing whispers already about the rematch. I hope Eubank Junior doesn't entertain that. We've all had it, because the whole thing's been drawn out for so long. Oh my God, is everybody's patience not worn thin with this already? I don't know who they match him with. I know Ryan Garcia is sort of piped up. That'll be interesting based on the fact that as talented as Ryan Garcia is, it'd be best of the drug cheats,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So that might be. I'd love to see if Ben would have the balls to take on Garcia. I really would, to be honest.
Would you?
Just out of curiosity, yeah, just to see if he gets humbled to a degree.
Yeah. What about Ben fighting somebody like Josh Taylor?
Well, that's also another possibility because you have to say Josh Taylor's probably on the downward slide now as
Josh
well.
Kelly, Josh Kelly, Josh Taylor, Art
Josh Taylor, I'd say,
Eubank.
would be a I think Josh Taylor would be probably a more interesting fight for them because they might think they could pinch that. But I personally think Josh Taylor has still got enough skill to flog Ben personally.
Yeah.
Josh Kelly's probably a bit too fresh for him still.
Yeah. Oh, Josh Kelly beats Ben now.
Yeah, of course. I think he does. Definitely.
Garcia beats Ben.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Ryan Garcia. They're talking Kell Brook Ben.
No, I wouldn't want to see that, Russ. Would you?
No, I don't think Kell's.
I think
Kell could probably beat him, but he should stay away, Kell now.
I agree, mate. I think unless something went catastrophically wrong with Kelbrook, I would have to say Kel is still too good to, you know, unless Connor Ben has some kind of magic that he hasn't shown us yet, but I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Do you ever see Ben winning a belt, Jerry?
No, I don't. He had potential for possible British level, but he didn't want to start down there. He's too, in his head, he's too good for that, obviously. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think he's rubbed public up wrong way, Crusher?
He definitely has, Russ. He definitely has, mate.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a shit about fans, really.
Has it been a stick fingers up job at the fans?
I think so. You couldn't call it anything other than that. Um, and then he's tried to get the violin out, like he's been hard done by. Um, I mean, he's acted like a spoiled brat the whole time. He's a very dislikable character, and he hasn't done one thing to endear himself to fans. So I couldn't see any fans apart from Piers Morgan being into Conor Ben at all.
Well, he is, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Screaming robbery.
I hope not.
Screaming. What about Bellew screaming robbery?
I didn't actually hear that. Is Bellew trying to say there was some kind of robbery involved?
Yeah, highwayman job, Dick Turpin.
So that's Dick Turpin's robbed Conor Ben and also Tyson Fury. Yeah, is that right?
Hey. You know the whole scenario for me, right? It's all heading for a rematch, Jerry. Do you think? There's nowhere else for them to go, is there, if they want to earn money?
I hate to agree with you, but yeah, I mean that's probably what's going to happen with the way things have been going.
Well, they're
That
selling it to us now, aren't they? They're already selling it
yeah,
to us
pretty
with Sauna thing.
yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
They're going to make money out of scaremongering about all this weight issue. That's what they're going to do, mate. Watch. You're going to watch the scripts come out now from. We've already had broke Jawgate and it wasn't even broke.
Yeah, fucking fine. So he was.
Do you know what I mean? But I want to see Ben in with somebody with an heartbeat, mate. Somebody on his level. Let's see him with a British level guy or a European.
I agree, Russ. I agree.
You know what I mean? What did you think to Eddie Hearn calling Chris Eubank Senior a lunatic, after everything he's been through?
Well, he is a lunatic.
The
I
cheese
thought
has
that was
slipped off
actually
his cracker, Jerry, hasn't it?
it's totally slipped off his cracker. Thing is, though, you know, I don't know. Obviously, Chris Eubank, but he's probably at the core of it and a decent fella, right? But at the same time, anyone who's bought into this whole, you know, notion that he was really falling out with his son. I mean, I did think I was believing it at one point, and then when he showed up on the night, I was just like, this has all been bullshit. This whole, oh, the fight's not going to happen and all this. I mean, I've seen videos where he's flat out denying it's going to happen, and he was this close to disowning his son and all this type of stuff. Um, it's just been bullshit. He's just either they've been in on it together, him and his son, or um, Eubank was just, because let's face it, he loves the limelight. He loves the attention. And it's only because he's not part of the camp, he's probably felt a little bit, like he's been thrown out with the dishwater a bit. So,
Well, he got his
um,
moment. He got his moment, didn't he? He's back in mix now for a bit of PR work and appearances.
he did, yeah, but just doing things like charity run with Michael Watson and, like making out it's all about like the boxer's health and all this. And realistically, he's going to turn up and not boycott the fight the way he kind of was getting on before the fight. So it's just bullshit. That was the other half of this pantomime, in my opinion. Senior getting on like a lunatic.
Yeah, yeah. He's entertaining though, isn't he?
That's what I mean. Sometimes he is entertaining, right? Some of that crazy behavior is entertaining, but he probably is a decent guy, like I said, deep down. But it's always this act with him. Do you know what I mean? It's always this act, and
Yeah,
you know the lisp and all that. It's been put on for like 35 years. Do you know what I mean? So it's just he's just a
yeah,
nutcase.
yeah. Eubank Senior, right? Do you think they were all in on it? Junior, he were always going to turn up because he loves the limelight, doesn't he? Do you think it were always going to happen and they just played a blinder?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If there was a little bit of actual tension there, I think Senior was always going to turn up. No matter what. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if Senior and Junior had hatched a bit of a plan. Just to kind of generate more kind of interest. And I had people in my work the next day who weren't interested in boxing saying to me, wasn't it good that Chris Eubank Senior turned up? Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? What the hell? Like, it's just absolute nonsense.
Yeah, yeah. What did you think of actual fight though, Jerry? How it went?
Well, like I said, I didn't watch the whole thing, but from the highlights that I watched the next day, it looked like it looked like a good scrap. But I've heard different people saying that they really think Eubank flogged him, and a lot of work that Ben was doing was missing, and
Yeah.
he was just punching her. But I did watch one of your videos the next day, and you said you kind of had it closer on the scorecards.
115, 113, and that was we're trying to be gentle, not biased. But I could see, you could see other scores, but that were me. I had you went clear winner, but but some of them were hard top rounds to judge.
Yeah,
Swing rounds, but listen, Ben lost, and he should have lost.
yeah,
I know Julian had it 9-3 because somebody sent me a video of it. So, well, it depends what you're looking for, doesn't it? We all look for different things.
yeah. And obviously, what I watched highlights can be dished up um, and not give obviously a true representation. So what I saw, obviously, could have leaned one way or the other, but just the general opinion seems to be that Eubank definitely won. Like he was a clear winner. So
Clear
I
winner,
guess the
and you could give it to him by 4, but not being biased. Yeah,
yeah,
but I tried to give Ben's scorecard the benefit of the doubt, but nowhere near, nowhere near.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so they've all had it off though, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean,
financially wise.
of course it did. I still think some of the fines, obviously, for Eubank Junior were a bit uncalled for. Yeah, think that's a bit crazy. So,
What did you make
you know,
about that fine situation, Jerry?
um, I didn't, uh, I didn't agree with it. Basically, the egg thing, like, was stupid. And then what was the other fine? Being an ounce over. I mean, an ounce over. Like, I know rules are rules, and catch weights are catch weights, but um, I think like they were unnecessarily harsh on Eubank Junior for that. The fine seemed excessive to me, Ross, if I'm honest.
Well, it's worked out 375 grand in UK money, hasn't it?
It's a lot of money, mate.
If it even happened, I mean, they'll do out to sell it. We never have all this when it's a non-pay-per-view, do we? They don't do anything to sell that fight, mate.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, they do.
You know what I mean? But they've had it off, haven't they?
Pretty much. You know, people seem to enjoy it. A lot of non-boxing people were talking about it. So,
You think they'll ever be
you
mates, Jerry?
know, Crusher Ben and Eubank Junior. Probably not, mate. But it wouldn't surprise me if we got a documentary in about 10 years' time where they meet up and shake hands like their dads.
Yeah. Well, they're never going to be mates, are they? Unless there's money in it for them on of these appearances they do.
Yeah, I mean, who knows really what's going on behind the scenes? One's a lunatic and one used to be a devil worshipper. So did
You
Nigel
what?
Ben used to be a did Nigel Ben used to be a devil worshipper? It's in his book, I
Nigel,
think.
but yeah, for money.
Oh, really? That's even
Well, they'll do
worse.
out for money that lot, won't they? I mean, are you telling me all this with this egg thing? I mean, what did you think to that with egg? It's all staged lunacy in it from day one all the way through.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. That like desperation times. Like, right, lads, pull out the stops here because we've got to get generate as much interest. You know, they probably hadn't. Well, I don't think it was a sellout. Like, so, they were probably trying to fill as many seats as they could, get as many pay-per-view buys as they could as well.
Yeah, well, they look like they've done well out of it, don't they, all of them?
Yeah, so know how to make money.
What did you reckon to Frotcher's video where he said it's a dangerous fight and it shouldn't be happening? He never said that to Ben, did he, in an interview?
No, that this is exactly what I was sort of getting at the beginning of this video. Um, yeah, it's a dangerous fight. What do we have? What do we have weight divisions for in the first place? You know, I know everybody came out of that fight healthy, which is good, and nobody wants to see anybody get severely hurt and put in hospital. But for the sake of making a fight between two guys, you know, very wide differences in terms of weight and build, just put them together. But for the sake of a rivalry that existed with their parents, years ago, it's craziness. Like, but the fact that it went so well for them, or wouldn't surprise me if we see something like this again in future. If not with them, with someone else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. They've had it off, mate, because they've all told lies.
Yeah, basically.
They
I think
manipulated
this.
press for 2.5 years.
I agree. And there drug testing at that fight? Don't know. Have you heard?
That's what they've done, mate.
Was there any?
They
What was
manipulated
that?
press 2.5 years and they built Conor Bennett up as a villain.
Basically,
Everybody
yeah.
tuned in, everybody tuned in to see him get filled in like me.
apart from me.
Hey,
Apart from me, because I said I wasn't going to watch it and I didn't watch it. So, but
I
yeah, a
didn't
lot of
want it
people.
to get filled in.
I know everybody was hoping he was going to get battered, like around the ring, but
I'm only
didn't
saying
go.
what alt media want to say, but then,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Well,
yeah,
it's
because
right,
they're
isn't it? They
yeah,
all
of
know the
course.
boxing, don't they? These Gads and Jordans and that, but they don't say a word.
Yeah, nobody wants to ask the awkward questions because obviously they're looking to stay on side. So
Look, you don't get access, do you, to any of them, any big noises.
definitely not.
It's a closed shop. That's what we're up against here. So if channels like mine don't say something, don't get out there. My conscience is clear after I've said my bits. People are getting punched in the head, Jerry, and not paid on time and ripped off, and promoters taking money under the table, managers sucking blood out of fighters. He needs proper governing like football and cricket and stuff like that. You
I
know what I mean?
agree
That's
with
what
you.
I think.
Yeah, it's the wild wild west, isn't that what you always
Well,
say?
yeah, well, we've got people like Jake Paul slinking into the sport and getting world rankings and stuff on back of what? And they're getting millions of pounds. And it has, for me, it's bad. They've let these in to do that 'cause they're making a mockery at sport. It's turning it into a circus. And now fighters
Definitely.
don't want to fight certain people. They're picking and choosing. You can imagine Agler Earns, Leonard Duran picking and choosing it, and then 9 fights between them all not happening. Can you imagine that?
You can't when you think of like the greats and look back at the past, but nowadays, we've seen so many crazy things in the last few years. Anything's possible now.
Well, it remains to be seen, but there's a lot of talking going on and no fighting. I mean, they're talking Deontay Wilder, Joshua. Till late, isn't it? 8, 9 years till late, that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've got washed out, shot to bits, and then you've got mentally fragile and shot to bits. You know what I mean? It's basically a case of who's less shot to bits.
Personally, I'd have thought Joshua would be wrapped up now until they get Fury.
Yeah, it's obviously not good though. All the time sort of
Eddie's
sitting on the
already
sofa.
saying he's glad belts are not online. Do you know what I mean? Well, I thought all roads led to undisputed, Edward. Do you remember when
Not
he
for
used to
Anthony
run around
Joshua.
with his slogan, all roads to undisputed? They had them hashtag slogans, didn't they, on the tops and that, like weapons they were. What? They look absolute whoppers now, and now they're saying that. Oh, it's not about the belts.
Yeah, well, it's saving
About
face,
the
isn't it? Because
fight.
they've embarrassed themselves. And it didn't work out. Didn't work out the way they thought it would.
It's about the fight now, not the belts. Well, but about the fight, Joshua wouldn't have gone for Charlie Martin and he'd gone after Wilder, wouldn't he, back then?
Yeah, taking out the
The big dog.
legitimate. Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? But that's what we're up against. Eddie's such a great promoter, he couldn't make Wilder Joshua and he couldn't make Fury Joshua because he hasn't made him, has he? There's been a lot of talk, but nobody's delivered, have they?
No, no, they haven't.
Everybody's been strung along now, and it's got to the stage where people are like, whatever, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Whereas in past, they were hanging on every storyline, but now they just see it what it is. It's prolonged bullshit.
Yeah. Um, and that I can see Fury now avoiding any sort of fight with Joshua.
Fury
Because
will
he's
just
talked.
want an Otto Walling type, won't he? As he come back, a soft come, he'll want to come back for 15 million or against some soft options or 20 million or something. I mean, he got 30 million for Ngannou. They had it off, didn't they? Really? Come on.
Yeah, of course it is. That's
Hey?
another. That's another gimmick fight. Do you know what I mean? And
You
it
want to go on to
nearly
part two,
backfired.
Jerry?
Yeah, of course,
You
mate.
want to go to
See
part
you on
two?
part
We'll
two.
see you on part two. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. And thanks for joining the members area. Pop, pop, bang. Please join us on part two, where we will be joined by Jerry with his Magnum Tash.